Hello, my creative friends, and welcome to another episode of the currently not daily prompt. You know, I was going to change the little title here so it didn't say daily anymore, and I was going to change the title on the front of the titles. But I very much want to return to daily as soon as possible. In this video, what I want to talk about, though, first is the major setback. So, about 3 weeks ago, I was fat, dumb, and happy doing my little daily prompts here and talking to myself and about 100 of my friends. Thanks, guys. When I got news of something in my personal life that I'm not going to go into, but that no families, every family's all okay and all that kind of stuff. Just nothing to worry about, but something that just was going to consume my focus. The kind of thing that comes up in your life that just is, hey, drop everything. You got to focus on this for the next couple of weeks or month or something. And when you're in, you're in sort of that running mode, you're moving forward, going towards that goal. And then all of a sudden something just goes, nope, stop. Is sort of a major setback in your progress. Anyway, I was hit with that, and that's partly what has caused me to stop doing this as a daily thing, in addition to all the other stuff that I've talked about along the way. But actually, that wasn't the major setback. That was just a setback. That was an obstacle, as it were. That was a road bump. That was maybe a plot twist. The major setback came yesterday when you would have seen a grown man cry. Had I had the cameras on. So I was doing the thing that I had to do. And have you ever spent like months on a script and you poured everything into it, you've devoted blood, sweat, and tears, you've gotten over those hurdles, you've gotten to that point where it's almost exactly what I need it to be. I've just got a couple little flourishes here to add at the end, and it's done, and I'm moving on, and we're there. And then something happens in the invisible abyss of your computer brain that deletes your script and all backups of it. Which causes you to have to start over. Yeah, that's where I'm at. So, so for the past two solid weeks, a little more than that overall, I have been focused on solving this issue that has come up. And then yesterday it all got wiped away, all of it. So now I have another 2 to 3 weeks of basically doing it again. That 2 to 3 weeks, I had a very specific plan I was very excited to get into, also not related to the daily prompt, but possibly to help set up the situation that will make the daily prompt daily again, get us into that next step. So the reason I was at near tears yesterday was because that pushes that much further back. So it's kind of like when you have a setback that has a ripple effect through your whole planning and goal and vision and everything, and suddenly just everything goes and gets pushed down the road. So just thinking about it now makes my blood boil again. To all app developers out there, if you're going to have a cloud-based thing, make sure that you don't prompt your user to delete the local version of... Anyway, this is So I was originally not going to record this, and then I was definitely going to record this, and then I was not going to record this, and then I was definitely going to record this. Clearly, I'm recording this. I always want to turn these things into a lesson, insight, something to focus on. Here's the only way I will get through this with my sanity. Knowing now that I have 2 to 3 weeks of the same thing that I had the past 2 to 3 weeks. The only way I'm going to get through this with my sanity is to realize that the major setback is often the very thing that sets the character onto the actual path that's going to lead them to their final conclusion. In other words, writers so often miss in their screenplays the major setback, what the major setback is all about. There's a point at which a lot of screenwriting teachers teach it as the all hope is lost moment. And I don't necessarily know that it has to be that. It depends on the story. It depends on what you're telling. I don't buy in all the formula stuff half the time. But the major setback is the thing that defines the character's plan, their goal, their vision. It's part of what sets their determination. It's part of the way the audience can see that they are committed to this. It's part of the way that we as an audience experience the change that happens, the journey. Without the setbacks, without the tragedies, without the problems and the obstacles and the complications and the frustrations and all the things that you just want to strangle people over. Without that, our stories suck. So we need these things. I didn't need this right now, and the story would have gone in a different direction had I not had this. But if you find yourself in a similar situation, or maybe I'm just talking to myself as I watch this back, understand that the major setback is part of the journey. It's part of the process. There is something to learn and decipher and distinguish and extract and notice within the major setback. Now, yesterday when the major setback happened for me, I couldn't see it. I was emotional. I was upset. I was sad. I was... It was good that I was not recording. Last night, I could not sleep because my brain just kept seething. Today, I was not seething until I started recording this and talking about it. But now that I am talking about it, I'm seeing it in a little bit of a different light, as I knew I would, which is why I started recording in the first place. Your character needs to go through what I'm going through here. Not in this way, not with these details, which I'm frustratingly not sharing with you. Obviously, I get that. But in their own way, in the context of your own story, when you experience problems and setbacks and these level of frustrations in your life, try to let the writer brain kick in. One of the things I wanted to talk about in one of these videos is the creative subconscious and how the creative subconscious works. And part of what my whole thing is about and what I'm trying to do is to give insights and ideas and stuff that goes into your creative subconscious so that when you create intuitively, in sync and aligned with where you're trying to go. If you take this notion on board, if you take the idea of the major setback and personalize it and see the challenge that you're facing from a writer's vantage point, it can help you get through it. It can help you extract the lesson from it. It can help you see the opportunity in it. Now, I'm going to be honest, I don't yet see the opportunity in this one because the idea of shooting this movie in June now gets pushed back to probably July, possibly August. It depends on what happens anyway. The idea of getting back onto the daily prompt schedule, or this show morphing into something new, broader, bigger, the whole idea of the videographer help, all that kind of stuff, that gets pushed back. I can't see the connection here. So we have to live our lives. We have to emotionally and viscerally and authentically respond to the events of our lives. And when something bad happens or something frustrating, or when there's a major setback, when this kind of thing happens to you, it's important to feel it. It's important to go there and to be upset and to be sad and to be angry or frustrated or whatever. It's important to be a human, in part because it's your human imagination that's going to be the generator of the truly original stories that you have in your head. So you have to live your life. You have to experience things. But in the light of day, and when it comes time to cope or deal or respond to these things, let the writer brain take over. Start looking for, how is this the major setback? And how can the character come back from the major setback? In a story, the whole point of the all hope is lost moment, which, by the way, that's a little grand for what I'm going through at the moment. Not all hope is lost. It's just a major setback. But if we have that all hope is lost moment in a story, the point of that is to make the audience watching the movie have no idea how we're going to get to the finish line. The all hope is lost moment isn't just some tragic trauma for the character. It's not just some moment of pathos you're putting them through. The major setback should make us think, oh, okay, this is no longer doable. And by thinking that, when the character finds it within themselves to emerge victorious, to overcome the obstacle, to step out of that moment, to push past the setback. That's how we see viscerally the character change, the character growth. That's how we see, that's how we respond, that's how we relate to a character. That's how we admire the character. Because they went through all that hell. They came to a conclusion that there's no way for me to do this. And I was sitting there watching them and thinking, there's no way for them to do this. And then they did it. You as a writer look really good when you can figure that out. The character is someone that we can truly care about when they figure that out. And that's all story design. That's all creating the story narrative, knowing where you're trying to go and knowing what the obstacles are that will get your unique character in a situation that they don't think they can get out of. So, we will persist. We will survive. I don't know how many videos I'm going to be doing over the next couple of weeks. My hope is still to do at least one a week. Hopefully 2. Can try to do 3. I don't know if that's going to be possible now because of the crunch workload, which is why we didn't have a video earlier this week as well. So, let's turn this into a daily prompt for you. Let's turn this into an action prompt for you. If you are working on a project, your new idea, your new project, if watching this gave you ideas for a project, think about the character and what they're going through and what they're trying to get. Now, what is the one thing, or three things, doesn't have to be one, what is that thing that is going to, what is that setback that is going to make it look and feel impossible? What situation could you put them in where the goal is literally no longer attainable? That's the daily prompt for today. I thank you for watching. I thank you for understanding about the changing nature of this schedule. We're still going to get where we're trying to go. I have an update video that I'll record next, but you'll see on Saturday if you watch such things. Super excited about the progress that we're making with the film, despite all this. But if you're not taking action, you're not moving closer toward your goal. So even though this is currently not daily, which it will be again at some point, but even though this is currently not daily, please be sure to take action every single day. If you need a simple prompt, if you need a simple daily action to keep you moving forward, where every single action builds upon what came before and guides you directly to your target, join me in Fast Screenplay. If not, do what you're going to do in the way that you do it. Just make sure that you don't let whatever setbacks come your way, no matter how major they are, don't let them stop you. Take action. We'll see you next time.